I'm trying to wipe off this line across my neck and it's not on me, is it? It's on the screen.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Carla is
really
here,
spooky,
my friend Carla. I will link her channel in the description box below, down there, for anyone who doesn't know who she is. And I've just had an email and that's completely thrown me.
I'm impressed by the fact that everything on your desktop is pink. On your, it's not desktop, is it? But you know,
Oh yes,
what's
I
it
did
called
that
when it's on your home screen?
I did that in lockdown. It took,
how to do things.
It took an awfully long time. I followed a YouTube tutorial. Anyway, we're going to do something called the Content Creator Confessions tag, which I saw somewhere on my travel around the internet, the YouTube. And it's 17 questions. It's all about having a YouTube channel. The good, the bad, and the
Fugly.
Fugly, yes. So I think we ought to limit ourselves to 30 seconds per question each.
Are we going to have a timer? Like when you play chess and you bat the top of it?
Yeah, you could get a timer on the phone. Oh, look, I'll put the questions
You
there.
could get a timer on your phone, she said, as though people could do those things. Hey Siri, where's the timer on my phone?
Oh God.
There are no timers set.
No, you need to go like clock, go down to clock.
Where's the...
We don't want 3 minutes, we want 30 seconds, not minutes.
30 seconds is not
30
long.
seconds.
I can take 30 seconds to go,
Yeah, but if it's 17 questions, so if we have 30 seconds each to answer each question, that's still pretty long, isn't it?
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay.
Well, there'll be chat in between, I'm sure. I don't think this 30-second thing is going to work at all. Anyone who knows either of us knows that we like to talk.
We can't shut up. Yeah. Okay, are you going to ask me first or am I going to ask you first? Are we each going to answer both?
We'll each answer both questions, I think. Okay. No, both answer all the questions.
Each both answer everything in 30 seconds.
God.
Right. It's going to be fine.
No, 30 seconds each. I'm going to ask the first question.
When am I pressing start? When you
After
finish
I've answered the question and you answer it first, yeah?
Okay.
Can you do that? Can you
so
press
ready.
start?
So ready. Yeah.
Okay, how do you feel about the term influencer and do you feel you are one?
I think it's a stupid term, it's an embarrassing term. I try not to use it in reference to myself, but unwillingly, I think anyone who has a YouTube channel or a large Instagram account becomes an influencer, whether they wish to or not.
Very succinct. That was.
I did that in 16 seconds.
So pleased with herself now. When I think about the word influencer, I think about sort of Love Island people. Do you know what I mean? With big Instagram accounts.
They don't influence me. I don't watch it.
I didn't ever think of myself as an influencer, or don't really. However, as you say, you do become one just by the very nature of having a YouTube channel. The other thing I wanted to say is that when you think about the term influencer, all it means really is someone who influences other people to buy things or do things or so although it has a lot of negative connotations, it's just a word really, isn't it? That's it.
Yeah, I would never refer to myself. I would never, I would never write something.
I'm
an influencer, blah blah blah. I wouldn't do that. People are influenced by the choices that you make, but only because you choose your sons and go. I think this is lovely, and they go, I really like that too, and that's. Are they influenced by you liking it, or are they influenced by you showing it to them? That's not the same thing, is it?
I guess people value your opinions, like the llama leggings. I was influenced by you liking the llama leggings because you said they were the best leggings ever, and I tend to agree. And they've got llamas on. What's not to like?
How did you decide to become a content creator?
I've talked about this before, but I started writing a blog back in 2008, and it sort of morphed from there into doing some YouTube. And then I decided I preferred YouTube, and I stopped the blog in about 2017, I guess. It's still there, but not in the public domain. You?
I've never seen your blog.
It must have
gone before I met you, is what I mean. I never knew you as a blogger. I didn't decide to become a content creator,
YouTuber.
I didn't decide to become a content creator as such. I found the YouTube reselling community enjoyed what those guys were putting out and wanted to join in, they were doing things like, here is something I found and this is what I sold it for, and I gained knowledge from that and wanted to share the knowledge that I felt that I had, and that was how it began. My channel now is much less about eBay and much more generalised, but I never decided I was going to be a content creator for a living. That never happened.
Question number 3. What's your experience with... Oh, so
how do I restart
cancel.
it? Okay.
Do cancel.
Okay.
And then start.
Okay.
Still struggling with the timer on her iPhone.
Don't use these things.
Bless.
Tech.
Oh, yeah. Setting that 1 minute timer, so complicated.
Very techie.
Yeah.
Very techie.
How are you getting on with the iPhone, Carla, that you've had for 6 months?
Well.
Right, question number 3. What's your experience with knowing other creators in life? Good or bad? Bloody terrible.
Oh, like blue touch paper. In general, my experience with meeting other creators has been good. In general, I haven't met anyone. What I mean is, I haven't met anyone and gone, "Oh my God, you're a complete arse." That's not happened. Although some people have evolved into being arses over time. But in general, everyone I've met, the thing is that people aren't content creators, aren't they? Just people who happen to create content. So if you meet somebody who goes, "I am a content creator," they're probably an arse, but nobody ever does that. People go, "Hello, I'm Susan," or whatever, and then you meet Susan and then you discover that Susan's a perfect
I think you already have something in common, don't you? Like when we met up, it was because we had reselling in common and we both did YouTube, and then we found that we actually quite liked each other as well. But you already know you have something in common. Speak for yourself. But yeah, you have something in common from that, and I've met lots of people who have YouTube channels. Some of them I get on, like in life really, some of them you get on better with others, but certainly I haven't had any bad experiences at all.
I haven't met anyone and found they were completely different in person to how they seem to be on their channel. Which is
that's another thing. Something
that quite often is an assumption, is that people are putting on a show of themselves for the cameras and that in person they're completely different. And I don't think I've met anyone and thought, "Oh, you're completely different." Possibly a bit more sweary than you are on camera. But I'm a lot more sweary in real life than I am on camera.
You have to be. Me too,
Yeah. But apart from that, no, I haven't met anyone who I felt was completely false on camera compared to their real life persona.
No. How did we get on with that question?
I stopped the timer ages ago.
I went 9 minutes and we're up to question 3. So
excellent.
It's going well.
It's going brilliantly.
Your turn to read the question.
Do you accept sponsorships and how do you feel about them?
Yes, I do. I think it's important to balance sponsorships with non-sponsored content. From a viewer's point of view, if everything everything you're putting out is an ad, I tend to lose interest in a channel pretty quickly. So I think you need to balance it. But the other thing with accepting sponsorships, that in terms of feedback, I really like the fact that when you do an ad video and you're working with a brand and they have approval over the content, I really like it. Makes me feel good to know that they're really happy with the content I've created. I feel like that's really good feedback and something that you don't necessarily get in this job very often. I mean, obviously, lovely. I've just taken that whole minute myself, haven't I? I'm going to shut up now.
Should we abandon the idea of the timer?
Yeah, let's abandon the timer. I'm going to shut up now. Actually, no, keep the timer because it makes us shut up. Yeah, your turn.
When I read the question as being sponsorships, I'm never quite sure what would classify as a sponsorship. Whether it's just because I know some companies will say, "I will pay you this much per year, and for that I want you to mention our company this many times," wouldn't they? You know what I mean? Because some of the American channels, for example, you'll see them say, "Here is a vlog about how I washed my car, and today's vlog is sponsored by Hello Fresh," and I'm like, the the sponsor doesn't seem to tally with the content, and it doesn't seem to matter to some sponsors. They seem to be quite happy as long as you put their little bit of info in. They don't mind if the rest of the video isn't related to cooking at all. I have not been approached in any kind of way with that. I
do that for Anna Louisa.
Yeah.
I've got a year with them, and they pay me a certain amount of money to do certain number of mentions, and they're very, some companies, as you say, are more flexible with what you put, what video you put it into. Some are more specific about what they want in terms of, oh, I don't know, can't think of an example. They would want it
to be more relatable to the content, to the product.
Yeah. Lily Silk, for example, only want certain types of content. They're very specific.
Yeah, I've only been approached for specific product. We will give you this. We'd like you to show them this. I haven't had any more generalised sponsorship approaches yet, so I don't. How do I feel about them? It's always nice to be offered something free. I mean, you know, we're all like a freebie. If anyone out there watching is going, oh no, I don't like anything free, then you're not telling yourself the truth, not anybody else. Sometimes I get offered things that I blatantly don't want.
Oh God, yeah, you turn down.
And those I just say no, thank you. No, thank you. That's not relevant to me whatsoever.
Yeah,
I get approached by quite a lot of clothing companies who don't actually supply clothing in the sizes that I wear. I don't do that. There's no point. There's
lazy
no point.
Market research they're doing.
There is no point me trying to sell my viewers clothes that don't fit me. What I'm going to do, hold it up and go, this is too small for me. So yeah, there's quite a lot that I say no to, but I say yes to things either if I'm interested in finding out more about them, or if I think my viewers might be interested in finding out more of them. Yeah. So for example, the recent air purifier video, I got very low views on it. People perhaps aren't as interested as I thought they would be, but I thought it was something new and different, and I was interested in finding out about it. So I think it's lovely to be offered stuff. It's very flattering for a company to say, we like what you're doing, and we'd like to be attached to you in some way. That's really very flattering. So additionally, this is a very long answer to this question. Additionally, whilst some viewers may not like the idea of having products shown to them in an advertising way and may feel that that's not what they come here for, the nature of YouTube means that you need to keep on creating content, and sometimes that enables you to keep your schedule going when maybe your life is not in a very interesting place. So
yeah, fair point.
Whilst viewers might love you to put out a vlog every day, a vlog of me having a day off and sitting in my bed and watching Lucifer on Netflix back to back for 8 hours,
I
not the most thrilling of content.
No offense, you know? I love you and everything, but
so
I won't watch it.
Sometimes it literally just provides content for you, and it's something a bit different to try and keep your channel a bit fresh and not too samey. That was an 18-minute answer.
Time has gone really well. Yeah. What number are we up to now? Number 5. Have you had an experience with a brand that left a bad taste in your mouth?
No, not really. I've not ever had any specific issues with the brand. I had an item that was sent to me to review, and it did not work in any way, shape or form. It did not do what it said it would do on the tin, and I very unfortunately had to message them back and say, like, I can't promote this in any way. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't work. And they were a bit kind of like, oh well, you know, can you just work around it in some way? And I was like, no, I can't. But they were okay about it. It didn't end badly. It was just awkward. It's just awkward saying to people, your thing is rubbish.
Yeah, I've had one like that. It was a coffee machine that just didn't work, and
make coffee.
It didn't. The tube was blocked at the back, so that nothing came out. And Ashley took it apart. Honestly, he spent hours fiddling about with it, and he did actually fix it in the end. However, the fact remained that this thing had arrived and did not work, and someone with less DIY skills than Ashley would not work. So I said to them, I can't promote it. It arrived and it didn't work. It was faulty. So again, they were okay about it once they understood. The other one I've had, which I made a whole video about, was that the robot Hoover where they ghosted me. Yeah. I will link that video up here for anybody who hasn't seen it. That was an interesting one. I made a whole video about it. Not about the Hoover though.
No.
I didn't name the brand, did I? So yeah, that was that one. Next question. Is it my turn to read it?
I think it's me.
Go on.
How do you deal with negative comments?
Well, I've talked about this at a bit of length recently, so I would just say delete and block.
That is the professional approach to dealing with negative comments.
What?
How we actually deal with them is we ring each other up and we go, and then we delete and block. my basic approach to, if you are being vile in my comments section, you will not be there for long.
Yeah,
that's it. You will be going.
I think you're more. What's the word? You will give more chances than I will.
Do you think so?
Maybe, I think maybe not anymore. I don't know.
I think I still assume that surely they didn't mean that at first. At first, I go, because quite often you'll send me something and
you'll go, oh, did they mean so and so? Oh, maybe they did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think my default setting is perhaps I am misreading this, and then, but unfortunately, 9 times out of 10, the person comes back and goes, no, I did mean it. I was absolutely being vile. It was very intentional. I'm like, oh, okay,
right, okay. Now you've clarified. Yeah, it's
that Mumsnet thing, isn't it? I used to go on Mumsnet years ago. I don't even know if it's still there, but I used to go on Mumsnet, and one of the Mumsnet things was that if somebody says something that's blatantly offensive to you, the best way to do it is say to them, "Did you mean to be so rude?" And have them go, "Well, yes, I did actually." Yeah. So how do you deal with negative comments? Not brilliantly, but I'm trying. I'm working on it.
Number 7, what's your biggest pet peeve when it comes to comments?
Unsolicited advice. Unsolicited advice and blatant opinioning. That's not a thing, is it?
Opinionating?
You are entitled to your opinion. However, I am also entitled not to hear it. I think this is the one thing that people go through life going, I have a right to say what I want. No, you don't. You have a right to think what you want, but you don't have the right to say it, and you certainly don't have the right to hurt people's feelings. And so unsolicited advice is a big one for me. If I haven't asked for advice, it's because I don't want it. And that I can't put that any more plainly. If I have asked for advice, then it's because I want it. If I've gone, does anybody know? Can anybody tell me? Pop this in the comments, please.
I think the flip side of that is that people want to be helpful. They feel invested. For example, in your Calorie Crush videos, people are invested in your journey. Oh, I hate that word, journey. Unless it applies to a journey in a car or a plane. But I think people genuinely want to be helpful a lot of the time. What I'm saying is I don't think it's coming from a bad place.
It just reminds me very much of the old classic comedy sketch where somebody runs up and helps an old woman across the road.
Oh, she didn't want to.
And she didn't want to go. She's like beating him with her umbrella, trying to get back across the road. Find out if the person you are trying to help requires it. Really? What is your favourite part of being a content creator? I really wanted to read out the word influencer. It doesn't say influencer, but I want to read it out just in case. What is my
favourite part is when I make a video that I absolutely love and I watch it back and I feel really proud of it, and the fact that having these videos will make me I'll be able to look back on them when I'm old and grey, older and greyer. The one of William's graduation recently, I just loved that video. I was so happy with it, and there's a handful that I look back at and I'm really proud of, so that's my favourite part. What's yours?
I think my favourite part of being a content creator is possibly the people that I've met through doing it and things like that. You know what I mean? Does that count as a favourite part?
Yeah, of course it is. It's all part and parcel, isn't it? It wouldn't have happened if you didn't do it.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, I think that's my favourite. And being able to spend time and it's absolutely belting down.
It is again, isn't it? It said it wasn't going to rain in the next hour. I literally just looked at it before we started this video. Yeah,
being able to spend time with friends purely because of YouTube, because YouTube has made it possible. Without YouTube, I wouldn't, for example, know Caroline, but also without the income that I get from YouTube, I wouldn't be able to spend time seeing people in the way that I do. You know what I mean? There's lots of things that I can do now that YouTube has made possible.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of benefits. There's a lot of benefits to this, yeah.
And the next question is, what is your least favourite part of being a content creator?
It's probably dealing with the negativity that comes from the assumptions people make about you. People tend to think that because you put some of your life on screen that they have the right to the rest of it. And that's one of my least favourite parts.
That's going to come up in another question.
Yeah, but yeah, the astonishing thing that people think they know you and judge you accordingly is probably my least favourite part. The fact that there are people out there who've never met me, who absolutely know that they hate me, is quite amazing, isn't it? Quite amazing. I mean, I suppose we all judge. I hate Trump. I've never met Trump, and yet I'm quite confident that I dislike the man intensely. So I guess maybe it is fair to make your assumptions that way. Maybe.
I think my least favourite part is when the flip to my favourite part, which is when I make a video that, for some reason, I'm just not particularly happy with it. I hold myself to quite high standards, and if I've done something that if I've created something that I don't think is the best I could make it, it frustrates me. But sometimes that's just, I was talking about this earlier to Carla, when you're doing weekly vlogging and your life's just not that interesting, and you watch yourself back and you think, God, this is really tedious, and yeah, I feel a bit bad putting those videos out. But,
and yet the viewers don't tend to feel the same way. It's funny that the videos that I think are the most boring things in the world, people then say in my comments, no, I enjoyed that. So I guess it's... Yeah,
different perceptions, I guess. Next question, where do you draw the... No, wrong one. Sorry, I'm skipping ahead. Number 10, do you edit your own content? And if so, do you enjoy it?
Yes, I do, and not really. I don't feel like I do a very good job of editing. I edit everything myself. I'm not, A, financially able to release control of that, but also, B, I'm not actually able to release control of that. I feel like for somebody else to do your editing, they have to be very, very certain of what you want to put out, don't they?
I 100% agree.
If somebody else is doing your editing, do you put little footnotes in saying, take that out please, Martin, I don't want them to see me picking my nose? Or do you assume that Martin will know that? I don't know Martin.
I assume you'll watch it back before it's published, do you?
I don't know. It's not,
but it's quite interesting, because I always... when I started YouTube, I had no idea that there were people who didn't edit their own content, but obviously that was just naive assumption. There was a channel that I quite liked, and obviously mentioning no names, and I discovered that the person did not edit and never had edited their own videos. They immediately employed someone to do that, and I started not enjoying it so much because I knew that it was someone else's view of their life. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
I felt that I didn't enjoy the content so much, and that purely, ridiculous, really, because I enjoyed it until I knew that. But I feel YouTube is a very DIY thing, or to my mind, I want to watch people's own interpretations of their videos, and I feel like it's not.
If, for example, I filmed a 20-minute segment of Molly lying on a back on the couch with her legs in the air because I think my dog is the most wonderful dog in the world, and then my editor went, well, we don't need any of that, and chopped it all out, I'd be like, yeah, how does your editor know the bits that you particularly love?
Well, I suppose they don't, do they?
I don't really know about these things.
It's a collaborative process, I guess. I don't know how it works, but...
Also, I think I'd be too polite to keep on sending it back to the editor and saying, no, it's no good. No, it's no
good.
How
many times do you go? Well, can you just...
I'd end up going, oh, thank you, it's lovely.
I can see that.
A bit like when you go to the hairdressers and they go, and you go, thank you.
I'm really pleased, thanks.
And go home and go home and you're watching.
Oh, no, I watched it there. Yeah. For real. Right, next one.
Where do you draw the line? Have I gone blind or has that gone dark? Where do you draw the line in regard to sharing on social media? Hold my pint. Do
you want to go first? I have made some mistakes over the years of blogging and making YouTube videos. I'm not going to go into the results of those mistakes or what's happened because it's stuff in the past now, but it taught me some valuable lessons about what you should put out there on the internet and what you shouldn't, or what I should and what I shouldn't. Anything personal of William's stuff I'm always very aware of, and I wouldn't film my dad anymore because he is, you know, unwell. And I feel I've touched upon before the fact that these TikTokers or social media influencers, I guess not just TikTokers, who have a relation with Alzheimer's or dementia as the centre of their channel, and I find it very uneasy because to watch, because I think that they can't give permission to,
or that they may not be aware of what they're giving permission for in its fullness.
So that is something as well, and I could go on and on about this question, but I'm going to pass it over to you now.
I have, again, had my fingers burnt quite unpleasantly by people who don't know where the line is and are more than willing to cross the line into actively attempting to damage me. And it quite astonished me how willing, how willing people were to go out of their way to try and cause trouble, and pain and unhappiness. And that has made me much more reticent about what I will share. And in particular, recently, I took a job that was full-time. And after about 8 weeks, it became apparent that full-time wasn't going to work with the other commitments that I have in my life. Partially YouTube, partially eBay, but also my mother and various other things. Working full-time was not going to work. It was difficult for everyone, and it was having ripple effects on other people, not just on me. And so I've changed my job to something else that is part-time. I now only work 18 hours a week, 3 6-hour shifts, 3 days a week of 6-hour shifts, and it works much better, and it enables me to fit Mum in where she needs to be. Let's come away. But also it means that Mum can go shopping during the day, and it doesn't have to, and stuff like that, and all the stuff. If Mum has a hospital appointment now, I can take her. Whereas there were 8 weeks where she was cast adrift by me not being able to do these things for her. I don't know quite. I've lost the relevance somewhere. But my point is, people ask me continually, what is your new job? Tell me about your new job. You haven't told us about your new job. Why haven't you told us about your job? I don't know about your new job. Please, can you tell me about your, and there's a reason that I haven't told people about my new job, and that's because it's absolutely nothing to do with anyone. It's not relevant. You don't need to know.
And you don't feel
completely immaterial.
I
I don't feel comfortable sharing that information. I am too easily findable. If I was to say this is what I do now, I'd be immediately, people would be able to find me and cause trouble. And there are people who want to cause trouble. There just are. I don't know. I can't imagine why they would have so little in their lives that that's what they want to do with their time. But that's why I haven't shared where I work now, and I don't intend to share where I work now. And that's where I draw the line. I draw the line if there's something I haven't told you, it's because I'm not going to tell you. That's it.
And I think it's worth saying as well that those boundaries can be a changing thing. Something that you feel comfortable about sharing at one point, you can feel less comfortable about at another point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Number 12.
Name one thing you wish you knew when you were starting out. I couldn't think of an answer to this question. I mean, you learn all the time, don't you?
Yeah, I don't know about what I wish I knew when I was starting out, unless it was perhaps that not everybody is what they seem. Ooh.
Ooh, spooky. Learn as you go.
But then you'd think, I mean, when I started YouTube, I was kind of like 44, 45. You'd have thought by that age I'd have known not everybody's what they seem.
Yeah, true.
You'd have thought I'd been bitten enough in life to know that everybody has teeth, hadn't you? Wandered naively into YouTube going, it'll be lovely.
I like it here. Everybody's lovely. Number 13. Is there any change Sorry, it's your turn.
It's my go.
Go on.
Is there any change that you'd like to make to your content in the future?
I feel that my content is an ever-evolving thing. When I started my channel, it was lifestyle-y stuff like I do now, and then I morphed into almost all eBay stuff because that was what was in my, I was I can't speak.
The more things you watch, the more things you do like them. I think we're a bit copycatty on YouTube, aren't
and
we?
then I decided to stop doing the eBay stuff for various reasons, and went back to the lifestyle stuff. And I love everything I do now, and I get so much inspiration from watching other people and seeing them do things and thinking, oh, I'd like to do a video about that. No, I feel like I've gone off the question. What was the question? What was the question even?
Is there any change you'd like to make to your content in the future?
Yes, it's changing all the time and evolving, and I enjoy that. I get bored doing the same thing all the time. That was less than half.
It was.
A minute.
Yes, I would like to make more interesting content. I find a lot of my content I don't think I'm very interesting, and I'd like to do more travel-y stuff.
You're hilarious, though.
I am hilarious. I am.
Did you notice how backhanded that was? You're hilarious, though. Thereby saying, yeah, your
content is absolutely trite, but you're quite funny. Yeah. Thanks.
I watch everything she makes. Everything.
I think my content is very repetitive, and that is because I have this tendency to routine things. So I go, I do this on a Monday, and I do this on this day, and I do this on that day, and I wish I could be more fluid with it, but if I'm fluid, I don't get it done.
Do you know though, perceived or received, I think. Wisdom is having the same things on the same days is what you should do for YouTube.
The algorithm certainly seems to like that, yeah. But like I said, I found that if I decide I'm going to be more spontaneous, I don't get anything done. Having those upload things on certain days is what makes me go, I need to do that before so-and-so day, and I need to do that before, so otherwise I just go, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it later.
Yeah.
And so having it's a kind of a double-edged sword. So I need to put something out on Saturday because I always put a video out on Saturday. So I need to do something interesting before Saturday. It almost makes you go out and do something interesting in a way.
Yes.
Or at least try. But yes, I'd like to do more travel-y stuff. I'd like to go places more. I think I've fallen into a rut over recent years. I think we all did. After lockdown and all the rest of it, we all got in the habit of not going anywhere. And I'd like to go more places.
Stay in more.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah, I'd like to go more places and do more things. But I would also like to have more confidence in recording stuff when I am places. And it's finding
it doesn't always, depending on my surroundings, I'm not comfortable vlogging in public. Sometimes I am. I think it depends on your mood.
Yeah, it's firstly being confident in the vlogging, but also it's that finding that balance between being in the moment and also recording the moment. Because sometimes I go, I'm not going to vlog today because I'm enjoying doing this instead of recording this. And then you think, oh, but I wasted an opportunity to make a really good video. What you need, basically, is a camera crew to follow you around like a celebrity and just film everything you do. 14.
Number 14, what company or collaboration is your dream?
I would like to...
Swing on a star.
Would you like to swing on a star? Carry moonbeams home in a jar? Something or other, la 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 la. Or would you rather be a fish? The lyrics you know. Is it? I thought it was fish.
A mule is an animal with big
I thought it was fish.
I think it has different verses. Should we answer the question?
I've forgotten the question.
What company or collab is your dream? You got as far as I would
I'd
like
love to work with Yours Clothing. Because they do Fatbird clothing, they do my size and everything. I love their clothes. I'd love to work with them. That would be good. Are you watching? Hello, Mr. and Mrs. Yours Clothing. If you're out there, they're not watching, are they? Are they big fans of your channel?
Yeah, huge.
Oh, okay. In that case, I'd like to work with you. Information in the box. But yeah, I'd love to do that.
I'd like P&O Cruises. Louise Penland has just been on a beautiful cruise.
Tell you what I wouldn't want, Disney.
Oh,
you know when they go, oh, I've been offered a trip to Disney, I'd be like, I don't want to go.
I'd rather pull out my fingernails with a pair of pliers than go to Disney.
Sounds very ungrateful, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But it's just not my idea of fun time.
But, oh no, all that queuing and heat and...
Perhaps they get passes.
Kids.
If you're filming it for an advert, presumably you don't have to stand in the queues.
Yeah. What other creator do you admire, / want to work with? I know what yours is.
Go on then, what's mine?
Beatrice Caruso.
I would love to work with Beatrice Caruso. Again, I don't think she's a big fan of your channel. But if she is, if you're watching B, I would love to do a video with you. It'd be so much fun. I think she's fabulous. I'll ask Caroline if will you stick her in the box because people are going,
oh, okay, yes.
Yeah, Caroline, stick her in the box in case you don't know who she is. But she's an American YouTuber. She's big. It's a big channel. It's a big channel. Yes. She's very popular, and I really like. I fangirl in an embarrassing way. If she is watching this, she'd probably like, bloody English weirdos.
God, I hope she doesn't know where I live.
Yeah. What about you? what other creator do you admire or want to work with?
I'll tell you who I admire. I don't know who I'd want to work with. I'd love to do... Yeah, you obviously.
There you go, your dreams come true.
We're doing it.
Your dreams come true.
Yes, Carla. I tell you who I really admire for their videos. I've watched them for years, the Mitchellacks. I think their videos are just beautiful. I don't think I want to work with them particularly.
I know who you mean, but I don't think I've seen their stuff, or maybe I've seen their stuff and not. I'll have to look at the Mitchellacks.
Yeah, they've got lovely videos, beautiful. Yeah.
Do you think they do their own editing?
He does, yes.
Perhaps he'll do ours.
No, I don't think we'd have to pay him.
Let's do our editing, Mr. Mitchellack.
Next question.
Oh, what kind of content do you hate? And it's in capital letters. Hate.
I don't hate any content because here's an astounding idea.
Knowledge bomb incoming. If you don't like it,
you don't watch it.
You don't watch it.
Yeah. So there are types of videos that I like less than others. Gaming channels, perhaps. Anything too shouty I don't like. The postman's coming up the drive.
That's why the squirrel's running like fury up the fence.
Oh, okay. I might have to go. Is he going to ring the bell? He's got his machine out, so probably I've got to go. Back in the postman delivered some zinc tablets, in case you care.
Yeah, there's content that I wouldn't gravitate towards. There's content that I wouldn't bother watching. And like you said, for example, gaming. For me, watching somebody else play a video game, not remotely interesting, not particularly interesting. Playing it myself. But I wouldn't say there's content that I hate, because I just go, this isn't for me, and I go and watch something else. Quite a few videos I'll get a few minutes into and go, no. And there's the occasional video where somebody's voice doesn't work for you, isn't there? You know what I mean? Where they've got a particular intonation in their voice or their accent or whatever. You're like, I can't. There's a lady who does budgeting videos. Obviously, we're not going to mention any names. I like her content, but I have to watch her videos with the sound off and the subtitles on, because of something in her voice that grates on me, which is, that's not her fault, and I wouldn't, and you know what I wouldn't do? I wouldn't tell her so. I wouldn't tell her to put in the comments, by the way, your voice is horrible, I have to watch you in silence. But no, I wouldn't say there's content that I hate, it doesn't interest me.
No, exactly, yes. Final question. Have you ever had to deal with cancel culture, and if so, how?
Yes, and I'm not really prepared to go into it in any great length. But yes, I have. It was most unpleasant. It was most unwarranted, and yes, it's made me very wary before I join the pitchfork throng for anybody else. Very, very. It's made me very aware that while you are carrying around your blazing pitchfork, you don't actually know the whole story of anything. Yeah. What about you?
Again, a little bit, and not something that I'm going to talk about on YouTube, because I learnt my lesson. And that's it. That's all the 17 questions. I feel like it's just been an excuse to have a good old moan about all the devils.
It's an 8-hour video.
Yeah. It was quite chatty.
I have to say, there are a lot more upsides to YouTube than there are downsides. Otherwise, I wouldn't still be doing it, because I have a tendency to stop things that cause me more pain than pleasure.
Yeah, for sure.
I tend not to carry on. So the fact that I'm carrying on implies that there are a lot more upsides. And I'm sure that some cynical people will be going, oh yeah, it's all the money you make. Just so you know, don't make a lot of money. It doesn't make a lot of money. It makes a little bit of money. It doesn't make a lot of money. I certainly couldn't survive on it, which is why I do other things as well.
Yes. So
it is not purely for the dollar.
And it certainly isn't for the first few years you do it, because there's not any.
I think I earned 60 quid after I've been going about 3.5 years. I got my first £60, so yeah, definitely a slow burn, that one.
Yeah.
But no, there's a lot more benefits than there is drawbacks in the long run.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. It was a bit of a ramble. It was something, for goodness sake. If you held your head sideways, it would be equal. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Something a bit different. You always like it when Charla comes on my channel.
Is she coming in now, Charlie? Is she next? Shall I move up?
Oh, dearie me. You always seem to enjoy it when Carla and I chat. It's something a bit different, isn't it? And yes, I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next one.
Please come and have some lunch now.
Yes.
Bye.